Okay, good morning, everybody. It's going to be a quick video. This is specifically for Luna on the forum. Get her started here. First things first, or so. You're going to want to have some sort of a base or so a piece of melamine or so, and I think you've already got that part. Like Webb mentioned on the forum or so, you're going to want a hole in the middle, so you're going to take a drill a hole in the middle of the board all the way through. All this is to help venting or so. Sometimes it helps with the latex ever ballooning off the product. Something small like you're doing, that's probably not going to be a problem, an issue, but it's a good practice to do that for all your models, just in case. It can help. Then this is my makeshift bird of what you've got to work with or so. We're gonna have to use some imagination, obviously, in this. Is the best way I could get to these levels of things. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put a hard blob of glue gun glue on it, stick it down. You can put it right over top of the hole or so. Don't put the glue over the hole, otherwise you seal it. And then it's level. So now, this is why we're asking you about those pictures the other day or so, is that to show this gap between the beak and the ground, and also to see whether the wing was elevated some. That's why I put these together the way I did. So you can see, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge for the drop mold, and this is going to be where you're going to put a seam in here. So basically an open window, well, three-sided window to protect this. So basically what you're going to do before you do your latexing, obviously your mold is going to have a little bit of prep work. So you said, I think, do you think it's a plaster of some sort? What you want to do is make sure the surface is sealed well, so it's not going to stick to the latex. Not so much even sticking or so, as if there's a painted finish, or it might peel the painted finish off of the original. So if that doesn't matter, then go ahead. If it does, then you may want to seal it with something. We'll talk about that on the forum a little bit more afterwards. The window for the underneath the beak here, and the reason being is that this here, I'll swing this into view here. This is a drop mold. So drop mold is just this is a puppy paw. This is just a fiberglass muffin tin, if you want to call it. And the rubber goes inside the muffin tin. And when you take your cement and you pour it out, you drop it out of it, and your cement comes out. Obviously, it doesn't come out quite that easily. It takes a little bit of peeling the rubber off or so, but that's basically what a drop mold is. Now the problem is that you're going to have levels of rubber that's going to come over top, because they're going to come under these areas here. So I'm going to try and describe that a little bit more in a second, but your first thing you're going to do or so, and because your thing is very small or so, I don't think you're going to have too much of a problem to be able to peel it out of that. But what you're going to do is take a piece of playing card, or I use bristle board. Playing card's obviously the preferred method or so on the forum, because the playing cards are a wax surface, so the latex doesn't stick to them and it peels off nicely. I use bristle board just because I'm cheap and it's readily available around here. Playing cards are not the cheapest things to find in my area. Even at the dollar store, they get expensive, because the dollar store is no longer a dollar store. So what you're going to do is you're going to glue a piece of playing card or cardstock underneath that beak, and you're going to connect the top. Like this is cut loose or so. So this is just for an example purpose. You're going to glue it so it seals up to the back, to the top, to the bottom, and you want to have the least amount of glue possible, so you don't want to have any bulges or bumps or anything like that or so. And what this is going to do is allow you, when you take this, when you got to imagine this being upside down and your mold being poured, this is going to be visible on the top of your mold, like so, and your bird's going to be underneath that. So when you go to peel it out, this'll part open with the rubber, and your beak can just lift straight out of it. That way you're not prying it out. So because prying it out is where we're worried about your beak breaking. And then the wire, so like Webb said, we'll wait till we get to that step or so before we worry about explaining about the wire and the beak. That's when you're pouring the concrete, not when you're doing the latex. Right now we just got to get you started with the latex. Your other challenge is going to be, when you're doing your latex, is to make sure the latex is the underside of that overhang. And now, like, this is exaggerated. This is by far a lot more overhang than what you're going to run into. Like, obviously this is probably about 2 inches of overhang. Only looks like you got a hair, but You got to make sure that the latex is on the bottom, on the side, and up top. And make sure when you latex, you leave a nice, back this up a little bit. Sorry, I'm holding this camera by hand today. A nice flange all the way around. So give yourself about a 2-inch flange all the way around on your baseboard. If you're using a piece of melamine or so, that's great or so, because the latex doesn't stick to it. But if you're using particle board or any kind of wood product, make sure you seal this first also, otherwise it's going to stick to that permanently and you're never going to get it off. You're going to be fighting it for ages. Hope that helps for now or so. That should get you started with the latex. Your type of latex, whether this be the HX80 latex or the regular latex. There's a lot of different brands or so, but they're all different forms of latex. They all basically apply in their own little tweaking ways or so. Some of them you got to get them on faster than others. Some of them a little bit slower. Webb's famous saying of learn your rubber. So that's why he says that or so, because every one of these rubbers in every environment you work in makes a difference. So. But like you said, we'll get to those stages, and that kind of information is readily available all throughout the forum or so. So you can always double check on things if you're stuck, and that's the starter for you. Have a good day.